Long ago, during the early days of America's westward expansion, there lived a humble man named John Chapman, better known across the land as Johnny Appleseed. He wasn't a soldier, a merchant, or a politician. He didn't seek fame or fortune. Instead, he walked barefoot across the frontier with a tin pot for a hat, a worn sack slung over his shoulder, and a deep sense of purpose in his heart: to plant apple trees wherever he went. Johnny believed that apple trees could feed people, offer beauty to the land, and create a lasting gift for the generations to come. He traveled thousands of miles through Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois, scattering seeds and planting small orchards wherever he found a patch of soil and a bit of sunshine. But Johnny didn't just plant trees. He planted hope. He had no home of his own, but he was always welcomed in the homes of others. With his gentle voice and kind spirit, he offered help to struggling settlers, mending fences, chopping firewood, caring for the sick, and even teaching children stories from nature and the Bible. He lived simply, often sleeping outdoors under the stars, warmed by a small fire and the knowledge that he was making the world just a little bit better. His compassion extended to all living creatures. People told tales of how wild animals followed him, trusting him not to harm them. He refused to kill even the tiniest bug, often moving his campsite if he saw a bug's home nearby. In one famous story, Johnny came across a wolf caught in a hunter's trap. Rather than walk away, he freed the wolf and nursed it back to health. The wolf followed him for years like a loyal companion. Wherever he went, apple trees took root, growing into orchards that fed communities long after Johnny had moved on. Though he never asked for payment, many farmers offered him shelter, food, or a warm place to sleep. Yet Johnny never stayed long. As soon as the orchard was growing strong, he'd sling his seed sack over his shoulder and continue down the trail, whistling a tune and talking to the birds. People began to speak of him almost as a legend, a barefoot wanderer who spoke kindly to everyone, who planted trees without asking for anything, and who believed the earth was sacred. Years passed and Johnny grew old, but his eyes still sparkled and his hands were always busy with the earth. When he finally passed away, he had little to his name. But the land was dotted with thousands of apple trees, and his name was known in every cabin and village. To this day, his story is told around campfires and in classrooms, not because he was powerful or wealthy, but because he was good. The seeds he planted weren't just apple seeds. They were seeds of compassion, simplicity, and love for nature. Moral of the story: even the simplest life, when lived with kindness, humility, and respect for nature, can leave a legacy that lasts for generations. Johnny Appleseed reminds us that small acts of goodness can grow into something truly great, like apple trees that bloom long after the planter is gone.